She married the man of her dreams. But the first phone call after "I do" changed everything. A stranger warned her, "If you marry him today, your life will never be the same." She thought it was a prank. Until the truth came out. What she discovered will shock you. But before we continue with this story, kindly help this channel grow by taking a moment to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Your kind support matters. The call came before sunrise, at a time when truth usually stays quiet and lies feel safest. Ada woke with a strange heaviness in her chest, like her body knew something her mind had not yet caught up with. The house was already alive. From the corridor came the clatter of slippers, the low murmur of women talking, the sound of hot water being poured into buckets. Somewhere someone laughed too loudly. Somewhere else a radio played soft gospel music. Her wedding day had arrived. Ada lay still for a moment, staring at the ceiling, listening to the noise of celebration moving around her like a river. She should have been smiling. She should have been excited. She should have been counting blessings. Instead, her heart beat too fast. She reached for her phone to check the time. 6:12 a.m. Before she could put it down, the phone vibrated. Unknown number. Her brows creased slightly. Who would be calling her this early? Everyone close to her was already in the house. Anyone else would wait until later. She hesitated, then answered. Hello. For a few seconds there was no response. Just faint breathing on the other end. Controlled. Intentional. Then a woman spoke. Good morning, Ada. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. Not hurried. Not emotional. It carried the weight of someone who had rehearsed these words many times. Yes. Ada replied slowly. Who is this? If you marry him today, the woman said, your life will divide into two parts. Before today and after today. Ada sat up in bed. What do you mean? She asked, irritation creeping into her voice. Who are you, please? You don't know me, the woman said. But I know him. Better than you think. Ada scoffed softly. Madam, today is my wedding day. If this is a joke. I know about the scar on his left thigh, the woman cut in smoothly. The one he said came from football. Ada froze. Her fingers tightened around the phone. I know he doesn't like eating food that is too hot, the woman continued. And I know the name he calls you when he wants you to forgive him. Ada's mouth went dry. And I know, the woman said quietly, that he has been paying school fees for a child that is not yours. The words landed slowly like stones dropped into deep water. Ada swallowed hard. Who told you all this? If you walk down that aisle today, the woman said, ignoring the question, you will stay longer than you should. You will doubt your own thoughts. You will explain away things that don't make sense. And when you finally leave, you will wish you had listened to this call. Ada's heartbeat thundered in her ears. This is wickedness, she whispered. You want to ruin my wedding. I wanted to stop it, the woman replied. But I know you won't listen. So I'm only warning you. Warning me about what exactly? Ada snapped. But the line went dead. Ada stared at the phone, her hands trembling. She tried to call back. Network error. She tried again. The number no longer existed. A knock came at the door. Ada, her mother's voice rang out sharply. Are you still sleeping? Today is not for slow movement. Oh. Ada quickly wiped her face and stood up. Her legs felt weak, like she had stood up too fast after a long sickness. She opened the door. Her mother looked her up and down, already half-dressed in osso oak. What is this face? You want people to think we are burying somebody. I'm fine, Mama, Ada said quickly. Her mother narrowed her eyes. You better be. This wedding did not fall from heaven. Your father and I did not suffer for nothing. Ada nodded and forced a smile. As the makeup artist worked on her face, Ada's mind replayed the call again and again. Every word. Every pause. Every detail the stranger knew. Someone from his past, she thought. She glanced at herself in the mirror. The woman staring back looked beautiful. Calm. Ready. But inside, fear was beginning to grow roots. By the time she arrived at the church, her chest felt tight. Chinidu stood at the altar, tall and confident, greeting guests with easy laughter. When he saw her, his eyes lit up. You look stunning, he whispered as she came closer. She searched his face. For guilt. For fear. For anything. She saw nothing. The wedding went on exactly as planned. Prayers. Songs. Vows. When the pastor asked if anyone had a reason why the couple should not be joined together, the church was silent. Ada's mouth opened, then closed. She said nothing. She married him. The applause was loud. The joy was convincing. The celebration was complete. That night, after the guests had gone, after the dancing and photographs and forced smiles, Ada sat alone on the edge of the bed in their hotel room. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her heart dropped. "You married him," the message read. "I understand. I did too." Ada felt cold all over. Another message followed. "He will be kind now. Very kind. That's how it starts." Ada looked up as Chinedu walked out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, smiling like a man who believed his life was finally perfect. She stared at him, and for the first time the thought came clearly. What if the danger was never obvious? The first week of marriage felt like calm water on the surface. Chinedu was attentive in the way people praised openly. He woke early to pray with Ada. He reminded her to eat. He sent her messages during the day, short ones. "Hope you're fine. Did you eat? I miss you already." Anyone looking from outside would say she was lucky. But Ada noticed the small things. When she asked simple questions, he answered carefully. Not angrily. Not rudely. Carefully, like someone choosing words that would not leave fingerprints. "Where are you coming from?" she asked one evening when he returned late. "Traffic," he replied easily. "Which route?" He smiled. "Ada, Lagos traffic is Lagos traffic." "Why the interrogation?" She laughed softly, embarrassed. "I was just asking." He kissed her forehead. "You worry too much." That sentence stayed with her. "You worry too much." It came up often. When she asked about a call that rang and stopped. When she asked why money left their joint account without discussion. When she asked why he never introduced her to some people he claimed were close friends. "You worry too much." And slowly Ada began to wonder if maybe she did. The messages from the unknown number came once or twice a week. Never too often. Never too detailed. "He will correct you gently at first. He will make you feel dramatic. He will never shout. He won't need to." Ada never replied. She only read them, her stomach tight, her heart heavy. One night, after a small disagreement about visiting her mother, Chinedu said calmly, "Ada, marriage is about peace. Too many questions destroy peace." The way he said it made her feel childish. She apologized. That night she cried quietly beside him while he slept. 3 months into the marriage, Ada found the receipt again. She had seen one before and brushed it aside. This time she didn't. School fees. Second term. A boy's name. A private school. Her hands shook as she sat on the bed. When Chinedu came home, she showed him. He didn't shout. He didn't deny. He sighed. "I wanted to tell you," he said. "But I didn't know how. It's from my past. A promise I made before I met you." "Why didn't you tell me before the wedding?" she asked quietly. He looked at her, eyes soft. "Would you have still married me?" She didn't answer. "I didn't want to lose you," he said. "Sometimes love means protecting people from unnecessary pain." The word sounded reasonable. Too reasonable. She forgave him. Because she was already married. After that, things changed subtly. He started correcting how she spoke to people. He suggested how she dressed when visiting certain friends. He complained that her mother interfered too much. Always calmly. Always with concern. "I just want what's best for us." Ada felt herself shrinking, slowly, quietly. Then one evening her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. "Ada," the woman said. "You've started apologizing for things you didn't do. Haven't you?" Ada's breath caught. "How do you know?" she whispered. "Because that's when I knew I was trapped," the woman replied. "He makes you doubt your own instincts." "Who are you?" Ada asked again, tears burning her eyes. Pause. "My name is Ngozi." Ada went cold. "I was his wife," Ngozi said. "Before you." The room spun. "He told people I was unstable," Ngozi continued. "Too emotional. Too questioning. He never hit me. He didn't need to. By the time I left, I no longer trusted my own thoughts." Ada slid to the floor. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" she cried. "Because he looks good on the outside," Ngozi replied. "And because women are taught to endure quietly." Ada remembered the call on her wedding morning. Every word. Every warning. You tried to save me, she whispered. Yes, Ngozi said. But I also know how hard it is to walk away after I do it. Silence stretched between them. Leave, Ngozi said finally. Before you disappear inside yourself. When the call ended, Ada sat on the floor for a long time. That night she looked at Chinedu differently. Not with fear. With clarity. And for the first time since the wedding she understood the truth. The danger was never loud. It was quiet. Polite. Patient. And it was already inside her home. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss out on more interesting stories coming up soon on this channel. Ada did not leave immediately. That was the part she hated most about herself later. After the call with Ngozi, she lay awake beside Chinedu, staring at the ceiling, listening to his steady breathing. He slept easily, peacefully, like a man with nothing to hide. Like a man whose world was exactly the way he wanted it. Ada's mind, however, was loud. She replayed every argument they had ever had. Every moment she had apologized when she wasn't sure what she had done wrong. Every time she had felt small but couldn't explain why. In the morning, Chinedu noticed the silence. You didn't sleep well, he said gently as he adjusted his tie. Ada nodded. Just tired. He studied her for a moment then smiled. You should rest today. You've been stressing yourself lately. Stressing yourself. The words sounded caring, but something about them made her chest tighten. That day, Ada began to observe instead of react. She noticed how Chinedu always framed things as concern. How every correction came wrapped in kindness. How he never raised his voice, never insulted her directly, but somehow always left her feeling like she was the problem. When she laughed loudly on the phone with a friend, he said, "You sound happier with them than with me." When she dressed up to go out, he said, "I hope you're not trying to impress anybody else." When she questioned a decision, he said, "I thought you trusted me." Each sentence was light. Almost harmless. But together they formed a cage. Ada started keeping notes in her phone. Nothing dramatic. Just dates. Words. Feelings. Monday, he said I was overreacting. I ended up apologizing. Thursday, he said my mother puts ideas in my head. Sunday, he said peace is more important than being right. The messages from Ngozi continued. Always spaced out, always precise. He will make you choose between your family and your marriage. He will say outsiders don't understand your home. He will reward your silence. And it happened. When Ada refused to attend a family meeting without him, Chinedu was unusually warm that night. He cooked. He laughed. He held her longer than usual. You see, he said softly. When it's just us, everything is fine. Ada felt sick. She began to understand the pattern. Obedience brought peace. Questions brought tension. One evening, Ada made a small mistake. She mentioned Ngozi. Not directly. Just casually. A woman called today, she said while folding clothes. She said she knew you before. Chinedu's hand froze for half a second. Just half. Then he laughed. People from the past like to disturb happiness. Ada watched him carefully. Did you have another wife before me? His smile faded, replaced by disappointment. I thought we were past all this, he said quietly. Why are you digging up old wounds? I just asked a question. And I answered, he replied. By marrying you. That night he didn't touch her. The silence felt like punishment. The next day her mother called. Ada, your husband came to see us, her mother said. He said you've been acting strange. Ada's heart dropped. He came. Yes, her mother continued. He said marriage is overwhelming you. That you need guidance. Ada felt dizzy. When she confronted Chinedu, he looked genuinely hurt. I was worried about you, he said. I didn't want them to think badly of you. You spoke for me, Ada said softly. As your husband, he replied. That's my role. That night Ngozi sent one final message. He's preparing the ground. When you finally speak, people will already doubt you. Ada understood then. This was bigger than her feelings. Bigger than love. It was control. She began planning quietly. She saved copies of messages. She recorded conversations. She stopped confiding in anyone who repeated her words back to Chinedu. Chinedu noticed the distance. You're changing, he said one night. I'm growing, she replied. His eyes hardened briefly before softening again. Just don't grow away from me. The real breaking point came on a Sunday afternoon. Ada overheard Chinidu on the phone, his voice low, familiar in a way that made her stomach turn. She's calmer now, he said. Yes, she's settling. Settling. Like an animal being trained. Ada stepped back quietly, her heart pounding. That night she didn't cry. He packed a small bag. When Chinidu came out of the bathroom and saw it, he laughed lightly. Visiting your mother? Yes, Ada said. He nodded. Good. Space will help you clear your head. As she walked out of the house, her phone buzzed. Gozi. This is the moment, the message read. If you stay, you will disappear. Ada stepped into the sunlight, her heart racing, fear and relief tangled together. She didn't know yet that leaving would be the least difficult part. The real storm was about to begin. And the final truth, one that would change how she saw her marriage, the warning call, and even Ngozi herself, was still waiting. Just ahead. Ada stayed with her mother for 3 nights. 3 nights that felt both safe and unreal. Her mother fussed over her, cooked her favorite meals, prayed loudly in the mornings, and pretended not to notice how Ada jumped at every phone vibration. Nobody asked direct questions. In that house, silence was a language. It said, "We see something is wrong, but we don't yet know how to name it." On the 4th morning, Chinidu came. He did not come shouting. He did not come angry. He came with fruits, with humility on his face, with soft words. "Hi, wife," he said gently as he greeted her parents. "I'm sorry if I've worried you." Her mother smiled in relief. "Marriage needs patience," she said quickly, like someone eager to close a wound before it opened. Chinidu nodded. "I agree. That's why I'm here." When he finally spoke to Ada alone, his voice was calm. "You left without telling me," he said. "That hurt." "I needed space," Ada replied. "Space from what?" he asked softly. She looked at him. Really looked. And for the first time she did not feel confused. "From disappearing," she said. He sighed and sat opposite her. "Ada, do you know what people are saying already?" He stiffened. "What people?" "That you're unstable," he said gently. "That marriage pressure's getting to you." Her heart sank. "I defended you," he continued. "But you're making it hard." Ada felt something inside her snap. Not loudly, not dramatically, but finally. "You prepared them," she said quietly. Chinidu blinked. "Prepared who?" "Everyone," she replied. "So when I speak they won't believe me." For the first time his mask slipped. Just for a second. Then he smiled again. "You're overthinking." Ada stood up. "No," she said. "I'm finally thinking clearly." That was when she told him. Everything. About the notes. The recordings. The receipts. The calls. Ngozi. Chinidu listened without interrupting. When she finished, he leaned back and laughed. Not loudly. Just enough. "So that's it," he said. "She finally got to you." Ada frowned. "What do you mean?" Chinidu stood and walked closer. "Ngozi has always wanted to destroy my happiness. He did it before. She's doing it again." Ada's heart pounded. "She was your wife." "Yes," he said smoothly. "And she was difficult. Just like this." The word "this" hung heavy in the air. "You're following her path," he continued. "Same suspicions. Same drama. Same need to be the victim." Ada's breath shook. "And the other marriage?" she asked. His eyes darkened. "You went digging." "Answer me." "Yes," he said flatly. "There was another marriage. It didn't last." "Because?" Ada pressed. "Because she wouldn't submit," he replied calmly. The word hit her like a slap. In that moment, everything became clear. This was the truth he had never hidden. Only delayed. Ada left that day. Not with shouting. Not with tears. She left with evidence. The weeks that followed were brutal. Chinidu moved fast. He told the church she was confused. He told her family she was being influenced. He told friends she needed prayers, not questions. People called her. Some scolded. Some advised endurance. Some stopped calling altogether. Ada almost broke. Almost. What saved her was the voice note. One she had recorded by accident weeks earlier, when Chinidu thought she wasn't listening. In it his voice was clear. "She'll settle. They always do." Ada sent it to her lawyer. Then quietly to the church elders who insisted on mediation. Silence followed. The story changed. Not overnight, but slowly. Questions began to appear. Sympathy shifted. People stopped calling her dramatic. The divorce was granted 6 months later. Chinedu never spoke to her again. Years passed. Ada rebuilt her life carefully. Therapy. Work. New boundaries. New friendships. A new version of herself that trusted instinct over appearance. One evening her phone rang. Unknown number. Her heart skipped. She answered. Ada, Ngozi said softly. It's over now. Ada closed her eyes. Thank you. I didn't save you, Ngozi replied. You saved yourself. Ada hesitated. Why did you really call me that morning? Ngozi was quiet for a long moment. Because no one warned me, she said. And because I promised myself I wouldn't stay silent again. The call ended. Ada sat in the quiet of her home reflecting. The wedding had happened. The warning had come. The truth had followed. And the real lesson finally settled in her bones. Some dangers don't stop you from saying I do. They wait patiently for after. And sometimes, the bravest thing a woman can do is leave, even when everyone else believes the story was perfect. If you enjoyed watching, please take a moment to like this video. Share it with someone who may need to hear it today. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more real, powerful stories that remind us to trust our instincts and choose ourselves.